Okay, so this is a meeting of the 2024 road paving project. The estimated budget for this is 1.7 million. We have a tentative bid opening date of April 11th. It's going to run from early, maybe mid-May to late August. It might conflict with the starting of school in late August, but hopefully we'll be towards the end of the project by then, so it would only be minor inconveniences. But we're going to do 5 streets this summer. That's our plan. Acalanes Road, Angelo Street, Pine Lane, Pleasant, some portion of Pleasant Hill Road, and Taylor Boulevard. So here's me. My name's Tim Clark. I'm associate engineer with the city. I've been with the city since March of 2020. I worked on a few CIP projects with them. Here I am during the 2021 overlay projects. We were paving a pathway. So there's my contact information down in the corner. That's the tclark@lovelafayette.org. That's one email that I have that you can reach me at. And here's my office phone right here. And then I'll hand it over to Anna, who's also managing the project.
Hello, everyone. This is Anna Bernard. I'm the city engineer for the city of Lafayette. I'm been here for about almost 2 years now. So my projects that I've done here is the 2023 paving project that repave the Glenside and Olympica Boulevard. And also we got involved on Lafayette Library and Learning Center, the children's activity deck. It was a remodeling on the deck and the library. So
for the 2024 road repaving project, like I said, 5 streets. Right now we have the 75% draft plans. What we have in these plans is subject to change depending on how the estimate kind of shakes out in the end, and also upon bid opening. If we open the bid and it's over budget, we might need to cut some things. So these aren't set in stone yet, but if you do have any questions or concerns, it's good to bring them up now while everything's still on paper and not when the contractor's in the field. So please feel free to contact Anna or I if you have any questions. So we're going to be overlaying 5 streets, like I said, with about 2.5 inches of asphalt. And before any of that goes down, we need to do prep work for it. So that involves removing striping. Here we are, we erased off this fog line and also this turn arrow right here. So we do this in order to make sure the new layer sticks well to the old layer. If you try and overlay over any paint and stuff, it doesn't stick well. Here's the crack sealing guys down in the lower right corner. They're filling in any finer cracks in the pavement. Next up, we have dig out repairs. This is the next step in the process before you overlay. So this gets rid of, you grind out, take out any of those really busted up, loose looking chunks of asphalt. On the left is a grinder, just milling 6 inches down of some pavement, and right is where we plugged it up with asphalt. And then after that is the overlay process. Before you overlay, you spray down a light coat of oil, something really sticky called a tack coat. Then you can put on the really hot asphalt on top of there. There is 2 methods. One involves dumping a big truck into the paver, and the paver kind of goes. Another uses this pickup machine. It's kind of like an anteater where there's trucks belly dump in a windrow, and it'll get picked up by the pickup machine and fed into this paver back here, and you can kind of keep going all day. So before the paving process, though, there might be some auxiliary repairs that we might have to do. On the bottom right, they're fixing up a curb ramp here, bringing that up to ADA standards. On the right, we had to remove and replace a fence. And once the overlay goes down, that new 2.5 inches of asphalt, we can put the berm on top. You can kind of see the machine taking the asphalt, shaping it, and then squeezing out. the new berms. You probably see these on the sides of the roads in Lafayette all the time. Yep. Okay. After we do the overlay, after we put on a new berm, it's time to stripe. This is one of the last steps. This is a thermoplastic striping. It's really reflective, which is good because in Lafayette, we don't have a lot of street lights. And this is one of the last steps of the project. After that, it's kind of like punch list items and stuff before the contractor wraps up the project. So you can see all these different steps that need to get done in order for a street to be repaved. So it does take a few months in multiple locations to do all this work. So please bear with us during the construction season. First up on the list is Acalanes Road. We're repaving this from Black Forest Court, where we stopped with the 2020 overlay, and we're going to go paving all the way up the hill to the city limits. First thing walking on Acalanes Road that I noticed was that the pathway on the southbound side of the road, I'm sorry, the northbound downhill side of the road was in need of some repair. So we're going to be fixing up this asphalt. Right on the plans right now, we have it removing and replace some of the asphalt that's behind the guardrail. And we're also going to be fixing up this fence as well. And when we're doing that, we're going to be replacing the guardrail also along the pathway and the 3 other sites on Acalanes Road. This guardrail is not Caltrans compliant right now, so we're going to bring that up to standards. On the right is a picture of the pathway just uphill of that guardrail section on the left. If you notice, the edge is kind of flaking off right there. So in order to stabilize the pathway, we're going to put in a 2x12 header board on the left-hand side of that. There's a little detail page right up at the top left. See if I can zoom in there. So we're going to put a header board and then shoulder backing between the pathway and the header board just to reinforce it. And then we'll saw cut the edge of the pathway to a clean, neat finish. So while it's not going to look like a new pathway, it should give it more life. On the left is some guardrail. This is another section that's going to be removed and replaced and brought up to standards. Right now, it's too low. We want it to be, the top of it to be 31 inches above the asphalt pavement. On the left is the road widening we're planning on doing. There is a kind of a trough developing on the side of the road, which is taking off some of the edge of the roadway. What we want to do is widen out the asphalt section right there. You can see this is about the edge of the existing pavement. We're going to go out around 2 feet wider and put a new berm, that new asphalt curb, on the edge of the roadway to collect any water that accumulates. So it won't, so it'll stop eroding our edge of road. And next slide. Going further up the hill again, this is another section of guardrail we're going to be replacing. We're going to try and bring it all the way up to the road edge, not have it die off like here. On the left, we have a little pavement repair that we're going to dig out. We're going to remove this berm right here and put it back once the new overlay is done. So here's a cross section. All these details I kind of shown on the previous slide. Some road widening. We have a little bit of what we're going to do with the pathway with the header board right there. We go up here, we're going to move that existing guardrail over to the edge of the pavement. And going down here, if you look on the left side of the page, this is what we're going to do with the pathway. We're going to try and rip out the old fence and put in a new fence, and also put in a new guardrail. So looking at the plan sheet, starting at Black Forest Court, going up the hill, like I said before, we're going to be fixing the pathway. We're going to be removing the fence, putting that back. Then we're going to be stabilizing the edge of the pathway right here. Going further up the hill, we're going to be carving out more of a ditch on this curb right here. Right now it's kind of filled in with earth, so we want to make sure water keeps on that side of the road where it's supposed to. We're also going to be replacing this section of guardrail right here near 820 Acalanes. Just past 820 Acalanes is we're gonna be doing some road widening and putting in a berm all along the side of the road up until the existing guardrail. We're going to be replacing this guardrail. We're also going to be widening the lanes right here because having too narrow of lanes just allows people to kind of cross the line willy-nilly. So we want to give people enough space to make this really sharp turn. And going up the road further, we're going to be replacing this section of guardrail as well. And we're going to be repaving. We're going to put in 2.5 inches of asphalt on all of Acalanes all the way up to the city limits, which is just past Wendy Lane. All right, now for Angelo Street.
Okay, everyone. So Angelo Street, it's a street that it's a dead end and off of Release Valley Road. So we are doing the repaving an entire street. And then here comes, so Angelo Street, when we are looking into the what kind of a treatment we're going to do, we discovered that the existing asphalt pavement, it was in a stage of deterioration and cracking rootings that need more than just like a dig out and overlay. So the proposed work is to grind and inlay 3 inches of the existing pavement. Also, we noticed that the street is fairly narrow at the beginning when off of the Release Valley Road. So we're going to do some road widening in this area here. So this is the plan that we're developing for and you have seen a 75% plans. So we are grinding entirely this area, which is, it goes, right now is the existing edge of the pavement. We are widening the road about this area here in the beginning of the road. So it's about we're going to widen about 18 inches on this and then allow that the road becomes a 20-foot wide portion. Once we install the inlay asphalt, we will retouch the stop marking and the crosswalk. Our limits of the work is at the edge of that crosswalk. We are not doing that because this was done recently, so that will be our conform edge there. As you can see on our typical cross section for Angelo Street, we will, as a first step, we will grind the area, excavate it, and then we created some base, about 6 inches of aggregate base will be placed there, compact, and then the contractor will be, it will have to saw cut the edge of the driveways. So when the grinding machine comes and grinds the street, we protect the edge of the existing driveways. And the inlay is done, probably I imagine in one day as we go. So Pine Lane is another street that I've been working with a team, and the area of a repaving, it goes from El Nido Ranch all the way to its end. So on Pine Lane, the asphalt, it wasn't as bad as Angelo Street, so we are going to propose to wedge grind, the east side of the road, and then install a 2 inches overlay in its entire width, from edge to edge. We also noticed that El Nido Ranch cross curb ramps, they didn't comply with the latest ADA requirements. So we are gonna completely remove and replace this and bring it up new curb ramps for that complies with the new standards. So doing the wedge grinding on the east side, we preserve most of the elevations, and then the conforms meet all these driveways on the east side. But when we overlay the rest of the street on the west side, some of the driveways will have to be a portion removed, and then we provide a smooth transition to the existing improvements. Unfortunately, some of these driveways, they go right against the existing edge. So we are proposing to take about 2 foot of these ends here, and then do a transition from conform elevation, final conform elevation to the existing driveway. We will we have a note and then requirements for the contractor to do a clean cut on concrete or pavers or bricks. So in the final product, it will look like that the existing improvements, goes against the asphalt. So it will be a nice clean finish. Oh, okay.
And then do laser point.
Okay, all right. So here's our plan development. So when we're talking about wedge grind, so we're gonna grind the entire end of the road about 8 foot wide, and this goes all the way to the end. And then we will move to the next step, which is bringing the pavers that Tim showed in the beginning of the presentation, and then apply a 2 inches overlay in the entire width of the street. At the Timothy Lane, we will have to do a transitional grinding here, and then that's what it shows in this hatch area. And so we also have to do some grinding and then conform pavement on Howard Hills Road. As part of this project, we will also do some of this. The water runs the entire length of the street on the east side, and it goes in a series of existing pipelines. It goes under, concrete driveways. But we notice that in certain locations there is a flattened and a sunk of the area of the alongside of the road. It will create some. We asking the contractor to regrade and recreate the ditch along the side of the road. In our next slide, we have the continuation of a Pine Street, and then you can see some of that I mentioned and improvements that will have to be cut back and then transition into the asphalt. So you can see some of these driveways here.
So those have to be put back with asphalt?
It has to be put back with asphalt. So if you have a brick driveway, a concrete driveway, or paver finished driveway, we will cut a piece of that driveway, and then we conform with asphalt. The end of the street, we had 3 driveways that are meet in this location. So we decided to do a full grinding here, and then conform with the existing elevations as a finish of the road. So this is some of the new curb ramps that we're proposing. That's done in the northwest corner of El Nido Ranch. and this is the northeast. This is a curb ramp that we are applying for permit with Caltrans because it's under the freeway. So here's the cross section. So there are also with the improvements on Pine, we will do some dig outs like a team mentioned at the beginning. And if you live there, you probably have noticed, I read some of the markings on the street. Those are the areas that I walk through and identify that needs more than just a crack sealing. We're gonna do some big dig outs and take 6 inches and then put it back in asphalt before we grind the wedge grind and apply the 2 inches overlay over the entire road. Also, you notice with the wedge grind, the reason we decided to do because it's we would not impact on the existing pipelines that they're installed there, and then some of the concrete that runs over these pipelines. So.
All right. Next up on our paving list is Pleasant Hill Road. I know this is a contentious street, but we're only doing the section in Green. So that runs from Green Valley up here. We're stopping at Green Valley. We're only going to do the southbound lane from Green Valley to Release Valley Road. So this northbound lane in orange, that is Contra Costa County's. That's not ours. We're not paving that. We're going to pave a little bit in Release Valley Road. This ties into an older overlay project. And then we're going to keep on paving both sides of Pleasant Hill Road up until Quant or Spring Hill. We're not going to pave into this intersection or past it. So this is our paving limits for the Pleasant Hill Road section of the project. So on one section, this is the Green Valley intersection on Pleasant Hill Road. We have an existing guardrail that we need to replace. Also, from Green Valley down to Release Valley Road in the southbound direction, the bike lane there is pretty jacked up. The berm's kind of peeling from the edge of the asphalt. There are a lot of large cracks. This is because there's a very steep bank right here, and steep bank is slowly creeping into the creek. So we are going to do extensive dig outs in this area, but it is, we're going to do our best to fix the problem. This is a reoccurrent problem though, because this hillside is slowly slipping. Also, we're going to be installing some green bike lane markings on Pleasant Hill Road just to make it more aware to cars that this is a bike lane and there are bikers along this street. So this is that southern section of Pleasant Hill Road from Deer Hill to Mount Diablo Road. We did a couple of years ago. It's not going to look as extensively green as this, but there will be some green. So here are the preliminary plans. We still are kind of up in the air about how we want to strike the bike lanes. But starting at the Spring Hill Road intersection, let's see if I can get the plan. Nope. Starting at the Spring Hill Road intersection, we're going to put in a green bike lane all along there. And we're going to then go all the way to Release Valley Road and try and make these ramps ADA compliant. So far in the plans, I have us removing the concrete there and readjusting the ramps. But if we can potentially glue down domes, we could do that also to make these ramps ADA compliant. We're also replacing one on the south section of the roadway. Going further up the hill, if you notice this northbound lane, that's Contra Costa County, like I was saying earlier, we're not going to be repaving past this line. In the southbound lane going further up the hill, though, we are going to be repaving that section. More bike lane coloring shown here. And we're also going to be removing the existing berm That was that burn machine video I showed you before, and putting it back, nothing much to it going up the hill, just more kind of remove existing and put it back in a better condition. And this is that guardrail section we're going to remove and replace. Ooh, okay. After Pleasant Hill Road, we're also doing Taylor Boulevard. This one, to a resident, you won't see much changes. We're going to be overlaying this with 2.5 inches of asphalt like the other streets, but we will be changing the striping. Right now, this is the existing curve as you're headed up the hill on Taylor Boulevard. If you notice in the middle of it, there's these big box dots, reflectors, serving as a center line. You go over these in your tire and you feel like it hit a rumble strip or something. We're going to be painting that back with thermoplastic paint. These are phased out of Caltrans. We're going to do the new standard. So there's going to be more paint on the road down there. Also, we're going to be replacing, because we're going to be overlaying the street and we're going to be taking off this high friction surface right here. That's this, you see the transition from this regular asphalt to this darker material. This is a high friction surface that gives cars more grip as they're going around the turn. We're going to be putting that back as well. Going on the next slide. And this is another section of Taylor Boulevard. We're going to pave all the way to the end of our right of way, the end of the city of Lafayette. So that will feel like a new street. Going on to another section of our project is the raised crosswalks. I'm going to hand that over to Anne.
Okay, this is a project that has been approved since 2022. And then finally, we managed to finish the design, and we're gonna put it together with this bid, which are installing 2 raised crosswalk for safety near the schools. So I'm talking about the first one is a raised crosswalk, an intersection of Spring Hill Road and Pleasant Hill. This is you have the medium that separates the lane that goes across Pleasant Hill and the right turn here. The cars coming out of the Spring Hill make this right turn. So the existing crosswalk configuration, it is within a diagonal line, and oh, I'm sorry, I have to use the right here. Here. Okay, so the configuration, it is kind of in a diagonal, so cars making that right turn don't have a very good visibility of people crossing the street here. And so the proposal here is to reconfigure the area of the crossing, so we make it this close to the corners, or better visibility of the vehicles that are making a right turn. Also, we are narrowing the road. It's really wide, so cars tend to speed here once you narrow the road, and then created this raised crosswalk. So there is a fact of a slowing down, because it acts almost like a speed bump with a crosswalk. Also, we're creating medians to actually reduce the width of the road. So there is drainages improvements that we will have to do with this raised crosswalk. We're installing also, because we're creating some medians with maybe future landscaping. We are putting some sleeves, so any future irrigation can be installed on this area. And also the curb ramps that access the raised crosswalk will be brought up to the latest ADA standards. In the median, also, we don't have truncated domes that are lead to the other crosswalks across Spring Hill and Pleasant Hill. So we are also bringing truncated domes installed on that area. So this is how it will look like, the striping after the race crosswalk is built. So you can see it's a lot of a thermoplastic high visibility crosswalks, and we created also those shark teeth here, which brings a setback of where the car should actually stop before when they see some yield to pedestrians cross. They will have a signage also to alerting of the race crosswalk ahead, and also for the vehicles to yield to pedestrians. The other race crosswalk that we will be installing with this project is on Stanley Boulevard, right in front of Acalanes High School. This is a crosswalk that because the students that come walking towards, they're gonna go to the high school, and they're using the sidewalk on the south side. They tended to crossing here into the middle unsafe route. And so the decision it was made to create not only a safe point with raised crosswalks, but also ADA compliant path for students to reaching the school. With this raised crosswalk on this location, we will have to do some drainage improvements so the upstream water can doesn't be dammed by the raised crosswalk. So there's some we're installing a new DI here inlet. Also, we're going to have to regrade and repave the entrance of the 3229 Stanley Boulevard. So so we create a ADA path that is reachable to the raised crosswalk. So this is, in this detail, you have also the final striping that it will be very visible for pedestrians crossing safely on Stanley Boulevard. So we're talking about some of the working schedules. So Acalanes Road, Pine Lane, and Angela Street, which has less traffic, we have proposed all this work that is done during the summer hours. Will be contractor will be allowed to work on the area from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pleasant Hill Road and Taylor Boulevard, which are major arterial with heavy traffic. During the summer hours, we allow constructions to take place from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. But in case, like we said, that some of the improvements extended during the school year, so then we will reduce the hours from 9 to 2 p.m. to avoid major time for the drop-off and pickup of the schools. The race crosswalks, the right turn lane and Spring Road into South Pleasant Hill Road will be closed for a week. And we will see the possibility of allowing the trucks to make a right turn from Spring Hill into Pleasant Hill Road, but it's possible that we will have to detour trucks, but allow only vehicles. Stanley Boulevard between Pleasant Hill Road to the Acalanes driveway will be probably closed for a week, and traffic detour on surrounding streets. Work will be done during summer break. That's one of the conditions on the bid. So even though we close the road and detour traffic around, so we'll have a less impact during the school hours.
All right. Homework for you guys. If you have any frontage landscaping or improvements in the public right of way, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Anna or I. We're still in the design phase, like we said, so it's good now to bring up your concerns to us now. So You can Google us at City Lafayette, or here are our emails as well, down at the bottom of the page. Now we'll open it up to questions. Where's participants? Anybody have any questions out there? Please raise your hand if you do. All right, so we can adjourn this meeting. Let's see, 7:40. All right, well, thank you. Oh, we got Matt. I'll have a talk. Hey, Matt.
You open for him?
Yeah. Maybe he's not going to talk anymore. All right, well, I guess we can end the meeting still. Well, thank you for coming.